Hey, welcome, buddy, to NonSequitur Show. I want you to introduce the new look Kyle has. He's decided to change his hairstyle, grow a little facial hair. Kyle, I'm loving the look, dude. It is. I think it's modern. I think it's updated. You look less gay, but that's your choice. But how are you, by the way?
Doing pretty good. I mean, I appreciated just trying it out for a couple of days. I hear people are into the dad bod thing. I think I went a little overboard, but
Yeah, the Bob. You know what? I think I prefer the old style. But anyways, yeah, this isn't Kyle. Kyle, unfortunately, isn't feeling well. He's a little under the weather and sick. So we got Lion here. He's a Patreon of the channel. He's going to help me co-host this really kind of different and out of the way kind of a topic, I think, which is Two Girls, One Mic, Porncast, which is actually a podcast that's called a Porncast, correct?
Indeed.
Correct.
Play on words there. Awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you two lovely ladies actually watch porn, but actually rate the, let's just say, non-sexualized portions of the thing, or do you rate it all? Fill me in on how this actually works here.
I would say, and Alice, let me know if you disagree. I'd say we do rate the sexual portions as well, but our focus is the plot.
Awesome.
Correct.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
so you're Yvette, right? You're also known as Cybabe,
Indeed.
debunker of pseudoscience. Very good. We love that.
It's what I do for funsies and for pay.
And occasionally you can tell a dirty joke or two.
I'm allowed to say cunt. It's a good job if you can get it.
Man, and you get paid for that. You know what? We need to talk and trade in places, I think.
Yeah, getting paid to tell people they're full of shit. It's great work if you can find it.
I would love to. Actually, that's kind of what I do when I'm not a non sequitur, actually. And we got Alice Vaughn. You're actually the creator of Galaxy Bath Bombs.
Yeah, but I'm
Is that
more
true?
well known for yes, I am. But I'm more well known for my other product, offensive crayons.
Offensive crayons. Tell us what offensive crayon. Oh, okay, wait. Are these like crayon names that
I
have like
three
dirty names
boxes
to
of
them?
them right in front of me. I can read some of
Yes,
the colors
I want
off.
to see.
Hold on, let me
oh,
grab
this is
them.
gonna be interesting.
Jeez. This is going to be
So
awesome.
they
I
have,
want to know what some of these colors are.
so they're crayons with fun names on them. Everything from miscarriage maroon to boner pale blue. White is privilege.
Right, so the holiday edition.
Oh,
And I know that
okay.
my video is not coming in. All right,
Okay.
so it just they have like a little Santa hat on the thing, but all it says is holiday edition. The original, which here we go. And now the best one is the political edition that just came out. Red, white, and fuck you.
That's my motto as a American. Yes, red, white, and fuck you.
Yeah, politics in a nutshell, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and I try to be an equal opportunity offender. So.
Oh yeah, it's
but these crayons are, I guess,
Go
ahead.
No one's off limits on it.
These crayons are not for children, I assume, right?
Well, it depends on who your parents are.
And blind children can use them.
Yeah, they won't be able to read it. And by the way, I guess by the way, your name is Ion, right? Not Lion. I mispronounced it because the wrong name on it.
Oh yeah, it's Ion.
Okay. I want to clarify that for our viewers there. So let's get back to the crayons here real quick because I'm so interested in it.
Taxation is, let's see. Taxation is
fascinating to me.
theft yellow. Let's see. Mainstream media clickbait coral. Let's see. Citizens United green. There are some good ones in this one. Let's see. This is probably my favorite. Everyone's a racist except me.
White.
Those are brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I liked. In the original pack, the white one was privileged. So I mean, I'm just saying, we go after ourselves. We go after liberal things. We go after not so liberal things, and everything in between. So it's just, if it's out there, we find a way to fucking poke at it. And by we, I mean Alice and me occasionally contributing one sentence.
I bet you guys would love to play Cards Against Humanity with you guys. It'd be great.
Oh, that would be deadly.
I have definitely won most horrible person while playing Cards Against Humanity multiple times, so that is not surprising.
It's why she's my best friend.
I like the fact that you guys said you were equal opportunity offenders, because I happen to like comedy and I'm old school. I'm one of those people that I think offense is taken, and I think that comedy shouldn't really be comedy should be without bounds. I don't think that people should be limited to what they find to be funny. If they don't think something is funny, they don't listen to it. Humor is, subjective, and so I say a lot of things that I know people can get upset with, and even though I think it's funny, if they don't, so be it.
I think humor, especially offensive humor, is one of those things where it's exceptionally controversial because, as you mentioned, it's subjective. Everyone has their own line and limits, but it's really important because there's so many topics that people can't discuss, empathize, and or approach unless they can do it through a venue of comedy. And plus, I mean, if we can't joke about things, then we can't really talk about them. It was funny. I was on a forum the other day and someone said to me, no, all Holocaust jokes are offensive, every single one of them. And the person I knew for a fact, because my great crayon and your audience, half of them are going to tune out after they hear this one.
Look, I'm her designated Jew. I approved of this.
Mazel tov.
Exactly.
My mom's Jewish. I'm Jewish. Yeah.
Look, it was passed through her sensitivity filter.
So the great crayon is called Auschwitz Ash. And
I had relatives who died in the Holocaust. I'm just saying.
I did too.
And I still thought the crayon was hilarious.
Look, when that person on that forum, they were bitching about no one can make jokes about the Holocaust. I knew for a fucking fact that they laughed at that joke. So I first off called them out. I was like, first off, you laughed at that crayon. Second of all, I'll give you a gold star for trying.
Yeah, see, I believe that comedy is a therapeutic device, and I believe that we know these topics are very sensitive. When we talk about very, very sensitive topics all the time, and we're not making light of the subject, but what it is these are coping mechanisms. When people laugh at certain things, obviously, the whole thing with the Holocaust was just atrocious. One of the worst events in the history of humankind. But by having comedy, this is one of the ways that some people cope with these things. I'm one of those people, so I wouldn't take offense like that because it's not the intent. And
I gave a talk last year, and somebody came up. It's part of it was saying, humor is a great way to approach some of these subjects that we can't get people to come around on, that are hard to broach. And I use the example of The Producers because there are other movies. I'm sorry, this went to not look. I lost Godwin's Law quickly, but work with me on this. We were already at Auschwitz ass, so I feel like it's a short jump to Hitler. But I said, there are very short.
Obligatory jump, though, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It was gonna get there anyway. In my Jewish grandmother's honor, I had to do this. But she, there was, there are a lot of movies that talk about, these subjects that kind of glamorize or make Nazis look kind of badass and kind of sexy. However, you look at The Producers and you can take this awful force and reduce it down to we're laughing at you with your own words. And somebody came up to me from the audience afterwards and said, my grandmother was a Holocaust survivor, and the first time she wouldn't ever say a word about it. The first time she could talk about it was after watching The Producers, because suddenly it made it okay. It made it somehow okay to laugh at it and then process it. So humor helps.
Yeah, it kind of breaks that glass. It kind of helps get that bridge going to not acceptance, but being able to at least move on a little bit, address it. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not approving of the actions, obviously. But how'd you get stuck with the Gentile?
It's she was lost. I found her lost, alone, and wandering through the desert, and I'm like, you can be one of us if you need to, sweetheart. So that's how that
I have 0.7% Jew in me. Excuse you.
Oh, okay. So it's not a Shannon for the Goyim, if you know what that is. Okay.
I'm more Southeast Asian than she is Jew. At least according to
Ian,
who knows?
Ian, you're the only non-Jew in here, man. Welcome. Let me ask you this. Just say
pressure now.
Yeah. Before you get into your podcasting, there's one other movie that I will bring to your attention. Have you ever watched The Aristocrats?
We know everyone involved on that.
Okay.
I was just having dinner last night with Jackie Martling.
Was she one of the comedians in the
Jackie the Joke Man Martling?
Jackie
sounds familiar, but which one was she?
20 years.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Howard Stern, gotcha. See, like that movie, I didn't think was funny, right? But some people did, right? I get the entire concept, the over meta narrative of the movie, right? And I agree that with the meta narrative, but of course, this wasn't my cup of tea, right? but some people thought it was funny, right? And it was one of those vile, disgusting, dirtiest all-time things there is.
And that's the point
as far
of
as
it.
the truth. That's the point of it, right? That's the whole point of it, that they allowed to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's like Penn from Penn and Teller was one of the main. I think he was one of the producers. But it was, I guess they had to edit out, like their sound editor had to edit out him laughing. As if you've heard him laugh on his podcast or any of his stuff, he has this crazy loud laugh, and it was, and he obviously digs this type of humor. It's for someone, which is why it's like this stuff doesn't exist to create a market for it. This stuff exists because there is a market for it and people want to laugh at it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Okay, so I guess we're going to kind of dive into the reason why you guys are here, and that's one of our favorite subjects to talk about porn. Now, I'm kind of fortunate that I got a co-host now, because usually when it comes to porn, I have to do everything solo. So I'm glad I got a partner this time.
Sounds highly masturbatory.
I'm happy to help out. I am a Kyle replacement here after all, so I'm happy to help.
Yeah, well, I don't have sex with Kyle either, so that's something in common with him.
Maybe I can inspire you to change that. Who knows?
Well, you know what? Buy me a few drinks first. I may be cheap, but I'm not free. So tell us about your podcast here. I'm really curious what you guys actually do with this Two Girls and One Mic here.
So we do a couple things. So we review the holes and the plot holes of your favorite porn. So yes, we actually care about the continuity in pornography, cinematography, all the writing, all that fun stuff. But we also not only do that, but we also talk to people within the actual industry, try destigmatizing it and learning more about it. So that way our audience can learn overall, not only more about the industry itself, but to have better sex lives and, really understand what's going on with all these people that we're benefiting from, but not really talking to or about, and an entire industry that's kind of affecting everything from censorship laws to tax law to you name it, copyright. It's this huge thing that no one talks about.
I mean, that, and it was a great joke that started the podcast.
Yeah,
it was it's I'd given, and I mean, Alice is the person who will make any she's like, I see a thing that's funny, I can make this happen. And we were just like, we bounce ideas off of each other regularly. And I had just given a talk on why bad science in the movies is perfectly fucking okay. And I was picking on Neil deGrasse Tyson a little bit for his whole Neil deGrasse Tyson destroys your favorite movies this summer thing. And I'm like, destroying the bad science in movies is like destroying the plot line in a porno. No matter what, you're still getting what you went in there for. And then I was like, wait, there's a market for destroying the bad science in movies. Maybe there's a market for destroying the plot lines in porno. So just Alice and I were talking about it. And
someone had to jump on it, right?
You wanted to go wreck some porn movies.
Okay. It's, I mean, well, if there wasn't wrecking already in them, there was going to be after we were done with them.
Well, the fact that, okay, plot holes and porn seem to kind of go together. I don't think that many of them are supposed to be well scripted, and nowadays most of
you have not seen Fact to the Future.
Sure.
No, I have not.
And the Big Lebowski
Triple X. Lebowski Triple X. Yeah.
Big Lebowski Triple X.
Watch it. I'm not even fucking with you for the cinematography values.
Is this something?
Okay, so legitimately.
Go ahead.
Seriously,
you know what?
There was this Star Wars one I saw a while back. It was called A New Hole or something like that. It was a parody of A New Hope. That one actually gets pretty much every plot device of the actual movie down to a T. I was really impressed. Yep. It's probably one of my favorites.
That's what we look for is, we love the parody ones, and we love kind of the old crazy experimental ones. Like I still have kind of Night Dreams, Cafe Flesh. I met somebody, a former porn actor who auditioned for Cafe Flesh. Yeah, wow. This happened like 2 weeks ago, and he seemed a little angry when I said that the porn acting was better now than it used to be. I'm like, dude, just because you were a bad actor, it's not my fault.
Get better, man. Get better at your performance. Some of these movies, like for example, if I correct me wrong, but there was a movie back when called Pirates that was like $1 million budget. Indeed. This was a high end. So you think that the porn companies are now investing in those kind of things and trying to legitimize them in the actual mainstream and all? Because back in the 70s, way before everybody was here. Back in my time, I even know I was too young to watch back then. But as I grew up,
and it really
I learned a lot
wasn't
about
on the internet.
No, I got to tell you, this is a true story. Back when, before people had the internet and stuff like that, we had something called Select and On TV. And these were actually broadcast over the UHF bands. And so I remember back in like 1980 or 5, give or take, right, the early mid 80s. And I had a little analog TV, and you would turn a little dial, and what it'd do would be kind of off the fundamental frequency a little bit. But Select TV and On TV were coming over it, and it was scrambled. So if you tune it just a little bit off the fundamental frequency, sometimes that scramble would go away, and you get a whole picture. Like you're like nipple, that's nipple. I swear to God,
you're like
black and white, but
every so often you're like, I see an ultra weird looking vagina, but I'm into it.
Oh, I don't know if I would have recognized that at that age. I knew it. I knew what boobs look like. Yeah.
All I'm saying
I
is
still have to
like a whole fetish that we're gonna find out eventually.
That people like because they grew up jerking off to bad video quality porn that they got from like hunting on those dials.
4K would have killed me
now.
Well,
4K would have killed me. I wouldn't know what I've done.
Let's
not
forget.
Quicksand porn.
I was going to say, let's not forget that if you had an 8mm projector, you were gold. You had an 8mm projector, you could get some pretty decent porn on 8mm.
Yeah, the only reason I watch porn nowadays is to make sure that nothing's changed biologically speaking.
Oh yeah.
I know there's a lot of updates and a lot of things may have changed. So just to keep myself informed about if everything still works the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's my excuse for watching porn too. I need to make sure my vagina isn't broken.
Definitely.
It's for science. That's it. Biology. Yes, Alice?
Yeah, I do it because I like orgasms.
But to answer your question regarding budgets within porn, so no, it's actually not the route that most production companies are going towards. So the thing is, as opposed to 10, 15, 20 years ago, where there was a lot more money in pornography because most of it was video sales. Most of it wasn't pirated. The problem is nowadays most people just go to the clip sites and don't pay for their porn. So we have this entire culture of people who just expect porn to be free. And so what happened is, of course, nowadays there's not a lot of money to create this type of content. So we always tell people we're always big advocates of paying for porn, which I know for a lot of people feels out of the norm. But think of the people who are making this. They have the hardest job possible getting you off, and they're content creators at the end of the day. So just like you guys have a YouTube channel or someone's an artist or a photographer, they're fucking, but for entertainment.
Yeah, well, at my age, when the wind blows, I'm done. So yeah, it doesn't really take that much. But what? So where is the revenue coming from these movies? Let's say a woman does a scene, or a man gets a scene, they get paid a couple $100. How are they getting the studio making money off of this then?
Nowadays, so Eva?
Well, there are a handful of different avenues. I mean, it's the revenue streams are significantly less because people don't have to and don't buy them on DVDs. But for it's for some places, it's for monthly subscriptions. For a lot of women who have their own fan sites or are on what was the service that Riley just told us about? She's opening one.
Oh, there's OnlyFans. There's OnlyFans clips for sale. So there's websites like that where people could support the individual performers.
Yeah, and I mean those are ways that people manage to keep the revenue back where it was before porn really got started to not be paid for.
There are memberships you can also have.
All right, no, please go ahead. We got a little bit of delay here, so please forgive me.
Sorry. There are also memberships you can have to different sites. Of course, all these sites are making ad revenue as well. Pornhub isn't just counting on people to pay for stuff. But that's the thing. I mean, there are ways that you can support performers. We're really big advocates of, if you have a favorite porn performer, they have a site. They're probably producing clips. They're probably selling stuff. A lot of the production companies nowadays are working generally in tandem with a company like MindGeek, which owns like all the porn sites. So that way they can have money to create some of the content and get some of that revenue. but yeah, it's just as Yvette mentioned, it's there, but it's a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know I have a friend, she's a BDSM expert. And so she's on YouTube and she teaches people about BDSM. She actually lives like 15 minutes from me and we head out all the time. She's amazing. She's been on this channel. People may know her, Brittany Simon. And what she does is she has sponsorships with like Adam and Eve. And so they'll get her product, she'll use the product and then give a rating kind of thing on it and kind of promote it that way. So these porn performers that are having their webpage, or they're having these private clips or having these private sessions, I think is a wonderful way to make revenue, and I think that people should support that way. And also there's like the Chatabates things and the live webcam things too that I know that they would do as well. This is an easy way to give back to them, because I think I agree with you. I think it's a job, right? I mean, they're doing a job, they're doing it for the money, and I like the fact that many of them are using Twitter nowadays, and they're actually talking to people and cultivating a fan base rather than having this like aloof, oh, I'm a porn star and I'm too hot for you, blah blah. No, they actually get to know their fans, and we've had some actually similar guests on. I was talking to you, Alice, before we went on air. So do you think that that's something new too, that these porn performers are kind of getting more into social media and getting to know their fans and treating them like they, like any other type of business, like making it normative?
Yeah, they have to diversify themselves. I mean, the whole thing is now they have to market. They have more. Here's the thing: the pie is going to be a lot smaller because it's spread out over so many people. But the thing is now there's so many more opportunities to make money for everything from selling your underwear, selling photos, selling clips. You have Twitter, so you could have social media accounts. By the way, there's some hysterical porn stars like Missy Martinez and Kate Kennedy. I mean, Jesus, they were fucking funny when we had them on the show.
Was it Sylvia who we were hanging out with at the Magic Castle? Yeah, she was fucking hysterical, and she does stand up.
Yeah. So a lot of these also performers, they not only like do stand up, they're also writers. They have their hand in so many pots, but they have to, because again, like you can't just rely on DVD sales. So they have to diversify themselves. But I mean, it's cool because now you can find someone who's really up in your niche. So
yeah, I mean, part of having the internet available is like, I think everyone, like people who were in porn, got on it around the time when everyone else was realizing, oh, Twitter is a way to do this. It's just porn stars back in the 70s, 80s, 90s didn't have Twitter.
No. And they didn't have the quality of video that's out there now. Like I said, back in those days, 70. Oh my goodness, right? I mean, it's like going from 240p to 4K and going, holy crap, that's what a vagina looks like. Holy crap, I had no idea.
We love that unbleached asshole is back in now.
What's that? You love that assholes are back in? I didn't know they were back out.
No. We're enjoying that unbleached asshole is back in now. It's like, just let the asshole be the color it wants to be.
Look, I'm all cool with like scaping and stuff like that, but if you got to start dyeing stuff down there, there's probably a problem. You don't need to bleach it. No.
I mean, we get, we'll hear people who don't know much about this universe or only click on the things on the front page of Pornhub. They'll say, it's the industry has only people that are completely shaven down there, that look, that only have a certain look to their genitalia. And it's like, no, you just have to you have to take a 5-second search to find what you're looking for. But like, yeah, there is pubic hair back in all over the place. In the porn universe.
I specifically look for retro stuff myself.
You like a little turf on the field there?
Oh yeah. So I actually had a question kind of back to the video thing. I know that some of the things that some places have been doing to combat it is a little bit of exclusivity when it comes to the sites themselves. Like I think it was a Fortnite parody recently that was released exclusively on Pornhub. You could watch like a decent free version, but if you paid, you could get a little bit extra. And I'm assuming that was pretty good support for the actors and stuff like that. But I guess the question I'm leading into is, do you think there's a more possible, like probable future that streaming sites like Hulu, Netflix, that kind of stuff might add like an adult only section, and that could help with some of that revenue?
I would.
Yvette?
You know what? I'm gonna like. I figure we both have opinions on this. If I had to guess, at least right now, because of Sesta Fosta, I think they wouldn't touch it with a 39.5-foot pole. And I'm not sure. Like a lot of things would have to change in terms of like their legal I guess responsibilities if they're hosting porn as opposed to stuff that's hashtag basically porn. But that's it's I think part of the thing that might block this right now is just the possible legal ramifications because of Sesta Fosta.
Alice?
And how about you, Alice?
Yeah, so I agree with Yvette that there definitely are implications because of Sesta Fosta. Now, that said, I know that there kind of is a Netflix of porn at the moment. Actress and producer Bree Mills came out with Adult Time, which kind of is that. But that's the question. Are people going to pay for porn? How is that money going to get back in? I don't know, considering... just how all of these conglomerates own each other, of how many porn sites I don't know can be affected if they're going to want to compete. I would love if there was more competition, because unfortunately the biggest issue right now is that, in my opinion, there's a huge monopoly within porn because of MindGeek, and because of MindGeek being this massive monopoly. It's kind of influencing how a lot of trends are going. I mean, if it wasn't for MindGeek, we wouldn't have the clip sites. If it wasn't for MindGeek, the new UK laws as far as censorship were basically built around a lot of their standards of, well, hey, we sat down with these people and they seem to own, well, all the biggest porn sites that like 90% of people go to. So let's work with them.
So MindGeek is basically the Luxottica of the porn universe. You think you're going to different stores for your glasses? They're all one big place. Same thing with
they're like a Canadian-held private business that has they actually own all the domains.
Basically, top 100 domains, everything that you can name, they own. So,
and we're not saying they're an evil corporation. It's just
no,
there needs to be competition.
Yeah, well, okay. Look at, like, for example, Amazon. I mean, they already sell adult products, right? You could buy pretty much. You could get a $5,000 blow up doll, I guess, from Amazon if you really want to. So, and they also do streaming with their Prime service. You actually have streaming services, and you get movies from them. I don't see why it would be a big change in the way they do business if they offered more of adult things, as far as streaming or exclusivity of the actresses or things of that nature. You think there'd be an issue with that, Alice?
Considering that Amazon doesn't know how to filter its content already, I mean, actually, during this show, I'm not even kidding when I say this. So in the past, I've been banned from Amazon. And actually, as we were recording, I just got our email saying that my crayons have yet again been banned from Amazon. So I keep being banned off there, and they can't control crayons.
Man. Are you serious? It's banned for what, offensive speech?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not even kidding you. The first legal letter I got from them was because I offended, and I can't make this up because it's so beautiful. I was offending children and Caucasians.
Children. Wow.
The first children. Hold on, let's get out the first pack. The white crayon, I gotta tell you, man. Privilege.
Privilege. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
So I can see a bunch of 2-year-olds rioting. You know, fuck that bitch and her fucking white privilege crayon. Yeah, I can see that happening right now.
Let's see. Your parents' divorce was your fault, Peach?
That was probably true, though. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't know why that was offensive. That one's probably 90% of the time. Yeah.
I mean, I may or may not have said that the crayons were made in a sweatshop by like the fingers of a 6-year-old. It's not. It's not
they make a quarter an hour.
Well, see, you could have been generous. You could have said they were made out of the fingers of the 6-year-old.
They got medical. They get Band-Aids.
Body fat, the wax is so much better.
They're just so.
I don't know why people have fans to this shit. I don't get it. See, I'm actually outraged by this. Can you tell? Like, yeah, there's outrage. That's what outrage looks like. But I
Here's
don't
the
get
sad
it. Why
thing is
people
there are
so
some
offended.
colors that I won't say on the air because I'm like, I don't want someone to take that out of context and get me canceled. How sad is
You know,
that?
they'll do that too. No, they'll do that. They'll all they hear is like one specific thing. In fact, Kyle likes to tell a story where he was rapping along to some song, and of course that special word was coming into it. And he's thinking, "Can I get away with it? Can I get away with it? No, can't do it."
Like,
decided not
this
to
one's
say.
great.
Probably a wise decision, you know.
Like breast cancer awareness is a scam. Pink.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
I'm sorry I couldn't say Susan G. Corman Foundation.
It's that's one of the
like
rules,
fact
right?
you
Is
have
no
very little filter.
corporations.
No, what was it about corporations?
Isn't one of the rules with naming these that you can't name, like, put any specific names for corporations on them, or
Exactly. So
That
that's
makes sense.
one
Oh,
of
so you can't
the
say like Pepsi
one of
sucks
the
or something like
multiple
that.
rules.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
so people kept giving me names, and I said, "Yeah, I don't want to get sued."
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel bad about the one that I know I named in this pack, so I'm not even gonna say which one it is. There's one, and it's it's a doozy.
Is there one called "What color is your ass hair"? Because people are actually in the live chat, they want to start a business. Literally, they're talking about this live chat right now. If they're saying like, if you're not sure what color your asshole hair is, they're going to start a business where you can actually show it to them, and they'll tell you what it is. If you can't look for yourself, you know, you don't want to look for yourself. So hey, whatever. But that's entrepreneurship right there. You can make fortune with that. Send us your asshole. We'll tell you what your color hair is. So,
I still have a very
yeah.
fond connection to Miscarriage Maroon. That one, it got me through a hard time in my life. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that's the one I get the most shit about.
Can you give us a ballpark of how many of these actually sell?
I do sell a fair amount of them. I'm actually I'm really excited about a potential partnership that I can't announce yet. But if it happens, then you'll be seeing a lot more of the crayons, ideally, hopefully. But we do sell them also in globally, as well as we're in some stores, even like Menkind, which is a Spencer's of UK. They're all on board with selling our crayons. As well as a number of different websites online. So, but we have everything at offensivecrayons.com. But my favorite is when people send in color names. Now, I've actually created a little bit of a guidebook. There's 7 rules I found to creating a really good name.
Yeah. Can you give us one? A hint?
I'll give you all 7. So,
awesome.
just really quickly. Yeah. So, number 1, does it offend anyone or make a point?
That has to be a yes. Has to be, or why bother?
Exactly. So I'll have a lot of people who say something like placenta pink. I'm like, all right, okay, so where are we going with this?
What is offensive about a placenta pill pink, on the other hand?
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, you know that's going to be a crayon, and you're welcome.
Edible placenta in a salad or something green? I don't know.
Oh, geez.
Placenta and avocado toast is the new.
There you go. Hey, that's all the rage among millennials. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how the kids are making babies these days. Is they're eating the afterbirth just like gerbils.
Bacon, lettuce,
I was told this and before. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll save it. Finish the other 6. Because I'm curious about them. Now, I'm going to ask you guys something that I heard is a true story. I still have my doubts about it, but since you two are the porn experts, you probably would be the people to go to ask for this. But what are the other 6, Alice?
Is there a joke or at least an alliteration to make it sound fun? Is it topical? Because the fact is that if it's topical, then no one's going to care 2 years or even 2 months from now. I once had a color called United Red Eye when United was beating the shit out of their customers. No one remembers that.
So if you you'd have just like sphincter silver for like alliteration, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds good, but again, offend someone, make a
it doesn't offend anybody. Yeah,
like someone will be offended by the fact that the word sphincter exists. How dare you name a delightful body part? But that's not like, it's not quite. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Will I get sued for using this person, organization's name? If it's super political, it's likely topical, so it probably won't work. And then let's see, the last two are basically, does a joke about X group already exist in a set? Which a lot of times people will send me jokes I've already made. But my favorite rule is, will the dumbest person I know get the joke?
That has to be rule number one, actually, I think. Yeah.
That's I would say that's a good rule for a lot of, yeah.
Yeah. So for example, the alternative names for the black crayon. So the black crayon, I settled on Lives Matter. And so the two alternatives, yeah, it felt relevant, especially if we're going to pair it with privilege.
I like the privilege one for your white crayon. That one actually works really well.
Yeah.
The two alternatives for black was just calling it black.
Which feels like it would have been a little too like I feel like there might have been more phone calls than for the Lives Matter. Yeah, very meta.
Yeah, like on the
like I said, it doesn't matter what you say. People are getting offended. For example, like Kyle can say he likes gay men. Nobody cares a crap, right? I say I like black women, and the whole live chat goes fucking nuts, right? I swear to God, they talk about this for like 5 hours. Look at Steve. I'm like, so what? Why? Well, how is that offensive that I happen to say that I happen to like black women? What possible motive would somebody have to think that is an offensive comment? I don't get it.
How dare you think they're gorgeous?
Well, some people take it as a fetishization, and I think that unless, yeah, I mean, I think some people, if they have a preference for, they automatically see that as fetishizing the person, gender, et cetera, and it's like, no, I think someone could just be like this. I'm looking for a personality within this subset of people that I'm more attracted to.
Yeah, I don't think that's fetishization at all. Actually, I mean, in fact, I don't even know what certain fetishes are. When I talk to Brittany and she tells me what she encounters in her little circles, I'm like, I'm the most vanilla motherfucker on the planet, right? I mean, I didn't know half this shit existed. Right? I mean, Ian, you obviously checked out certain of these things. Have you ever gone to a site and said, "Holy shit, that cannot be freaking real"? People cannot actually be doing that, and yet it's a fetish and a niche. Yeah.
The craziest part. Oh, I was just gonna say the craziest part is not only seeing it on a website, but then like finding out, that maybe even someone you knew in real life is like really into these things, not in like a judgmental way, but just like, holy crap, that's real.
Yes.
Look, I'm just saying I haven't gotten over pterodactyl porn. That's still stuck in my.
I learned about that ages ago.
Yeah, it's still one of the weirder. Like the thing with the pterodactyl porn is that they would occasionally flap. They'd flap their little pterodactyl costume wings, and I haven't. Goddamn, the Germans make some interesting stuff.
You're forgetting the hand puppet.
I was trying to forget, but yeah, that was
now you're gonna give her nightmares.
Some things in Night Dreams were the cream of wheat box.
All right, so let me ask you this. I'm gonna talk. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you ever want to watch something interesting we're gonna just go with interesting. It's a woman who's cleaning dishes. And she decides to have a little fun by blowing a life-size box of cream of wheat to the tune of Old Man River that's being played on a saxophone by a piece of toast in the background.
Okay.
They did some weird shit in the 70s, and we're here for it.
Was it? Oh wait, was this the 70s or something like done last week?
70s. It was, and this was Night Dreams. It was one of the earlier ones that we reviewed. So who knows how bad we sounded? But man, that was that one made me go, yeah, we need to not do the experimental shit for a while. I need to see some more assholes stuffed with 2 fists at a time before I'm ready to go back to somebody being fucked with a jack in the box.
On the other side,
I'm gonna ask you something. Go ahead, and then I want to get into these movies real quick. I'm looking at some of these names.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, you gotta have a lot of respect for someone that's nailed it down to that exact detail. That she knows what she wants, man.
Hey, I literally just found out that there's actually courses that you can take for it. Brittany told me there's actually courses you can take in fisting. I'm like, wait, you have to first of all go learn this? And then what's this? I mean, this is like a course you can take, really? I guess so. So here's let me answer this question, or ask you this question that I really don't get. Now, do you tell me if this is true? You guys are women, so you get this is right up your purview. Hopefully, you can tell me if this is true or not. I have been told that and again, anecdotal evidence, that a large majority of men, for whatever reason, actually have no idea if their life depended on it and how to find a clitoris. Is that true? If you actually
majority of men yet, I'm working on it. But I think people have a much easier time finding the clitoris than they think they do, because even like there are women who have vaginal orgasms as opposed to clitoral orgasms. And when they in general, when they're having a vaginal orgasm, it's from the clitoris being hit from all the pressure just from banging. So that's like everyone in some way, when you're just rubbing around down there, one of the terms for this would be tribbing. It's a thing that a lot of lesbians do to rub all their stuff together. Anyways, yeah, there's
sign language here. Sign language.
It's like, yeah, it's like basically if you're rubbing about 2 inches above the butthole, eventually you're gonna find a spot that makes her scream in a happy way. Stick to that spot. Look up an anatomy chart.
I mean, Alice, what about you? Do you think that? I mean, have you had guys that didn't know what the fuck it was?
So let me put it this way. So I'm going to be the controversial one here and say that I feel like, oh man, I'm going to get so much hate mail for this. I feel like a lot of people.
We're going to give you her email here in a second, people. So write to her about
email
this.
Us, info@twogirlsonemic.com.
We will take all your hate mail. It's okay. We'll take your questions, your hate mail, not your dick pics, though. If you send us your dick pics, we will talk about your dick pics on the air and we will send them to your mother.
You might like that, though. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But here's why I say, look, I feel like there are a lot of people who don't know anatomy. I had a girl I was hanging out with this weekend, and don't know how we got into this topic, but I had to convince her that she did not pee out of her clitoris. So
yeah, I have. You know what? You're right. I had this argument with people too.
No, you're not getting away with that. Credit. No, that can't be true.
Yeah, you're right. I try to. I overestimated to paraphrase George Bush.
Was she a flat earther too?
She was fairly smart for the most part. Even a lawyer. But,
I met plenty of people who had that same thought.
No, Steve, though, this shit is real. Like, best friend, right? Best friend for 20 years. The year I decided to go over to Thanksgiving with him, we actually got to be part of the process where his grandparents found out that the reason that it's hurt so much all these years is because he was actually trying to fuck her clit and not her pussy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My God.
There's so many problems with that, what you just said. Now, see, I understand maybe that a guy may not, or even a woman may not know where a G spot is, right? Because, you know, if there is a myth, I think there actually is, because if you try hard enough, you can find a spot that actually works. But I can understand people saying, hey, look, you know, I can't find the G spot, whatever. But when they say they can't find a clitoris, which is, you know, it's a little bit hidden, it's in there somewhere. You may have to work for it, but that's half the fun. Unless they have like the mushroom kind.
It's not that. I feel like it's not that hidden though. Like that's not a spot that's really. I concur. The G spot, you can't like look at it and physically see it. You can physically see the clitoris. You just need to know what it looks like.
Yeah, it's not that hard to find. You give them a couple glasses of wine. You know.
You know what it really might be, Steve.
You'll find it.
Yeah, you know what it really
I always
might
come
be.
into the bedroom of charts.
Yeah, diagrams help. What I am?
That's true. Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, like there's a decent amount of guys out there that, no joke, that just think, you know, like the fact that you're with them is like all the pleasure you need. I mean, take it from a fat guy with like an average sized dick. You know, I had to work, like I had to figure out my oral game. Man. That's how I make it
work quite hard. Yeah.
I had to work on my oral game. You know, I had to figure out where that thing went.
As someone
I like you already. That's true.
I grew up a fat chick, and I'm just saying I still suck dick like one.
I'm telling you, man. If you like, look at that. If you look at me, like I have to rely on oral skills. Clearly, you know. I mean, this is the way it is. But you know what? If you got that down as mastery, you're okay one way or another. I'm pro. You know.
Our favorite porn performer, or at least for me and Yvette, is Tommy Pistol. He has a gut and he has an average sized dick. So. And he's got awesome.
He'll openly joke about it. It's
he can make you kind of quiver, because it's funny you mentioned it. A lot of people don't even realize there's multiple types of orgasms, right? They don't realize there's anal, there's clitoral, there's vaginal, there's and each one of them you can
you're making
actually
me wet.
recognize, right? I mean, when they get the sex flush, when you get the quivering. Yeah, I look at. I'm a scientific person, so I study these things, right? This is why people that are sapiosexuals love people that are intelligent, because we actually go around and read a little bit of biology, and we know how this shit actually works. So it's not just like playing it by ear. There's a skill level to these things, right?
I definitely agree.
You're the science woman. But no, go ahead. I'm sorry. We have a little bit of lag here. I don't know why it is. So we're going to play.
Yeah, I apologize for any over talking.
Yeah, me too.
Don't worry,
like I said, there is a little lag.
No.
When given the opportunity, I will accidentally overtalk anyone, so interrupt me. But no, so I think that that if you're somebody who wants to enjoy the sex you're having, and you're concerned that the person you're with is enjoying the sex they're having, number one, fucking talk to them. Ask them, is there a thing that I'm not doing that I could easily do for you that could make our sexual experience better? Do you have fetishes? Do you have things that are off limits? Men and women should ask their partners this. And I mean, if you're taking your pants off, you should care about that being fun for everyone involved. So please just fucking talk to your partner about the pants off situation, and you'll have a good time.
Right. Don't be afraid to say a little bit lower and to the left,
Just a simple, what do you want me to do?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and honestly,
go ahead, Alice. Go ahead.
Oh, a lot of, and that's the thing. If you want to fuck like a porn star, guess what? They will all say, if you want to have great sex, why don't you just ask your partner what they want to do to you, as well as you tell them what you want them to do to you. It's just works that way. And the problem is that if we don't have communication, then no one's gonna have a good time in the bedroom. And I never understand this thing where people make the assumption of, hey, we took our clothes off, we're going to have great sex now, without talking about this at all. Really?
No, the only problem I first see is that every sexual partner I've ever had is when I ask them, what do they want, they always tell me the same thing: stop begging, Steve. So I mean, it's kind of this ubiquitous thing. But I'm Jewish, right? That's what we call foreplay. 2 hours of begging. It's just the way it is. But
I thought that was the joke about Jewish women specifically.
That they call it 2 hours. No, they're no,
foreplay with the Jewish girl is 2 hours of begging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's actually more along the lines of real life. Actually, have you ever slept with a Jew woman?
I'm not sure. I've slept with a lot of women. I don't know if I have snuck a fellow Jew in there yet, but I'm working on it.
Wouldn't you know?
If you are one of my fellow tribes members and you would like to hop on this, email us and vote. I'm just kidding.
We'll get your hookup. What do they call the Jewish matchmaker? Yentl. Yentl was the movie, but what do they call the actual matchmaker of the Jewish matchmaker? Come on, Yvette, you're killing here. I don't remember.
I'm an atheist now, and my entire religion is guilt. So
yeah. Well, that's what Judaism is, isn't it? My mom's whole life has been one big guilt trip.
And latkes. Yeah. Yenta seems to be it. I could be wrong, but I mean, I think it's just, if you know the Jewish word for matchmaker, or a Jewish matchmaker in particular, please email us info@twogirlsonemic.com. We need to know, because I was not raised in the Jewish tradition.
We're really too lazy to go Google it. That tells you a lot.
I know. I just Googled it, and the first thing that came up was Yenta.
No, it starts with an S, if I remember correctly.
It's Shadchan.
There is.
Shadchan. Thank you. Yes, that's what. Thank you. I knew it started with an S. I'm just going to pronounce it. Yes. Thank you, David. David's a better Jew than both of us.
I'm a failure to the tribe. I should go back to wandering through the desert.
Goyim. All right, so let's talk about some of your movies real quick here that you reviewed. This is wow. First of all, these are real movies, I assume, correct? I mean, because I've never heard of these things, man. I'm old school, right? I mean, to me, the last porn star that I remember was Ginger Lynn. So, keeping up with the
clarify, so to clarify, a lot of the titles we just kind of have fun and do puns with. So, for example, you just mentioned Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It was actually not called that. It was called Keeping Up with Kiara Marie, but it just didn't make as good of a title.
No, I like yours is better.
Gotta add some style.
Now, yeah, have your little flair in there. Add some of your own. Take some creative license. Now, this movie I actually did see, so I am familiar with this. This is the actual name of the movie. Debbie Does Dallas, all-time classic of the '70s, with Bambi Woods, I believe her name was.
And we were so disappointed with it.
Really? Tell me about this. Yeah. Okay, I want you two to review this movie. Now, this is a movie that I have seen, so I kind of remember the plots a little bit. It had something to do with men and women doing certain things.
Well, first we have to talk about that pile driver in the shower. Like, before we get into plots, you need to talk out and have logistics planned for a fucking pile driver, my friend. And you do not do it on a slippery surface before you form. Do not try to stick your penis in someone's butthole when someone is in a triangular position where they could snap their fucking neck. And especially not at the beginning of sex. What are you doing? Warm up. Do silly things and then get to pile driver. When you're like, look, nothing is working to get me off. We need to go pile drive me. That's when you get there. But it was the beginning of a scene.
Yeah, at least get some
stretches. This is why you need professionals.
Wow. There were safety things going on there, right? They could have slipped. They could have fallen. They could have broken their dick or something.
Where was OSHA?
That happened on my cousin.
Yeah, I mean, do they have regulations? I mean, and like you said, where's the warm up, man? I don't know how often that people have, this goes straight for the butt, but I don't think that's really kind of usual, is it?
No, I'm just saying, like most people we know in porn who have told us they're plotting for it. It's like a day of not eating and a zillion enemas and sometimes a laxative the day before, like to make sure it's all like you don't just go for the butt. You plan and you stretch and you work that ass. That's why this is a job.
Yeah, that's some wise words there. Yes, Alice.
Oh, and then there were some plot issues. They had some weird plot devices. At one point, they had what was it? A rotary phone in the middle of a tennis court. Not really plugged into anything.
It was next to, like, it was at the center line, like
next to the net.
Next to the net. Like, why?
Well, maybe that's how it was in the '70s. You're playing a game, right? You're love, and all of a sudden you got a phone call.
On the fucking rotary. Yeah.
Oh, and then you have what's it called? You have a girl who just got a job working for the Hardwicks at their candle store and decides, hey, I'm gonna just diddle myself with their candles while on the job. Do you know, first off, how unsanitary that is? Number one. Number two,
don't put a candle in there.
No.
Don't do it.
That's not what waxing means, people.
Wax on, wax off.
Well played, sir. Well played.
You have another one that I actually saw, Behind the Green Door. Or do you want to continue? Is there more review of the Debbie Does Dallas?
I mean, there were also consent issues.
Yeah, like, all right, now in porn, that's because these girls were portrayed, I don't know how old they were, but they were portrayed as being 16. And in porn now, you have to say, if it's barely legal porn, never mind that, you have to say on, they have to have that little warning box saying all performers who participated in this were above the age of 18. Right. But I believe you have to actually state within the porn, within the script, that it's it's a good thing I'm 18 now, like, and they were not that in this, and it's like,
they were performers in their 20s or something, right? I mean, they were training themselves to be senior high school or senior or junior college or something.
Yeah, but the point is that there were a number of plot devices. So, for example, at one point, a girl is getting a job at a record store, and the guy's asking, "So why did you quit your last job?" Oh, well, because the manager sexually harassed me. And then he proceeds to immediately sexually harass her.
Here was the worst part. Like, when she was like, yeah, the manager got fresh. And then, he kind of looks at her like disappointed, like, well, I guess I can't deal with this one because she's difficult. And she says, maybe I was a little overly sensitive. And it's like, okay. Like, we've seen a lot of fucked up shit. We understand that porn is transgressive, pushy, so it's like, or can be, and depending on the porn, depending on what people are into. But like, this was fucking rapey with people who are below the age of 18, and I don't use that. I don't use that lightly. I'm not trying. Like, look, if you want to watch this to compare it to how porn is scripted today, it's very it's bad.
Look, we're just saying we watch a lot of porn. And by a lot of porn, I mean no.
We watch a lot of people. We
actually watch the full hour, not the 3 minutes. Thank you.
Let's see here. Okay, so I have seen Behind the Green Tour years ago. That was with oh wait, was that Marilyn Chambers?
Yeah, actually, I think it was. Hold on, wait, let me just double check because I don't want to be wrong. Because she was Ivory Soap Girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she was. Yeah, so that was definitely Behind the Green Door. Yeah, we reviewed that with our friend Emery, who actually edited the Aristocrats. And,
she's still in porn, I think. If I'm not mistaken, Marilyn Chambers, isn't
she? I think she died.
Did she?
A couple of years ago.
Then which one the one that's still in porn? Nina Hartley, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had
her on. She was
kind
enough to deal with. We had 40 minutes of audio issues before we managed to start recording, and she was kind enough not to just hang up on us. So thank you again, Nina.
Awesome. We should reach out to her.
She was
seems really nice. Yeah, she's a sex therapist, I think now, isn't she?
She's still performing. She does talks on the industry. It's like she is a what we call a hyphenate.
Hyphenate?
Yeah, does no one label.
Yeah, she's multi-skilled, I guess. Let's see here. Okay, so, right? Okay, so before I go to the number one here, Ian, what movie have you watched one of the older movies that you want them to review or have reviewed, maybe to talk about, Ian?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, when it comes to the stuff I find really interesting, and then also kind of interesting how Yvette was pointing out, like with Debbie Does Dallas, there's a lot of stuff that was like acceptable in that time that really, when we've looked back on it, is I really actually like those animated porn movies. Like, the one Felix the Cat, I think it was called, and then other similar ones to that. I love watching those ones because it's a nice blend of comedy and it has some of the more sexual stuff going on too.
So tell us when in your life your cat fetish started. I'm kidding.
Hey, I play Final Fantasy. Okay, it's been going on for a while.
My point. The point of just joking about it is like, just because you like this kind of porn does not mean like it's. I think people get freaked out when someone's like, you masturbate to a cartoon. Like it's not. It's one of the types of, like, everything in porn is kind of a little transgressive or can be. So talking about, watching cartoon porn is still something that people stumble on a bit.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm sure Steve can say the same. I've been watching porn for a long time. Sometimes you just want to find something a little bit wonky and see what happens with it, man.
Well, like I said, back in the day, it's a lot different than it is now. What's that?
It's always the porn that makes you embarrassed by how hard you come to it. That's weird.
I can agree with that.
Well, I mean, so wait a minute. So should we be? So if we like certain types of things and men will ejaculate harder, that because of that we should be concerned about that?
No, it's the ones that you feel like. Okay. I'm just saying, every so often you're like, well, I'll check this out because it's here and I'm curious, and you're like, and after you come, you're like, I came oddly hard to that, and I don't know how I feel about it. When it's like in one of the weirder categories.
Yeah, when you put a hole in the ceiling, you probably like what you're watching, right?
Yeah,
what really annoys me? Oh, sorry.
You just don't expect it with tentacles, those types of things. They throw you when you learn something new about yourself from how hard you come.
The whole thing with the tentacle porn was, I guess they couldn't show penises or something in the Japanese anime or something. So the way they got around the censors was that they did it by tentacles, something along those lines, right? I'm not an anime person, right? But a friend of mine told me that that she has two friends that are males, and I'm not going to tell who the name is, but two friends are male, and they have ejaculation contest of who can shoot further. And both are heterosexual, but it's just a competition they have with them. And I'm just thinking, hey, you know what? To each his own, right? But they actually practice for this stuff, right? They drink a lot of fluids, right? I mean, they build it up, they wait, and they just go for broke. And they, we're like shooting it over, like
questions.
Over people's heads and shit.
Are there things they do that influence this better? Like, I need to know. Like, what goes into a truly magnificent calm shot? This vexes the mind.
Okay, well, you guys are the experts here. So, but I would figure there's like two major things you have to gauge it by at least. Distance
what
and volume.
influences the viscosity?
Viscosity is a good thing. You know?
I actually did this as a teenager with my best friend, and I will say that my secret was orange juice. You never want to go for like water because then there's just nothing there, right? So yeah, like the viscosity, you want a little bit in there. So yeah,
Okay.
my secret was orange juice. That's how I always won.
Well, then you can add a fourth parameter, taste. But who judges that? I don't know.
Was anyone the designated?
Who goes? I was just gonna say, who goes to afterwards, like looking at this that shot out? Okay, this one was the furthest. This had the best viscosity. Oh, and then takes like a cracker, dips it. This has the best.
Well, clearly whoever's judging, right? You have to find a competent judge.
Well, need to make sure we just went by distance. So
well, that's like the vanilla level, right? We're talking the professional level, and we're talking. This is not no amateur league. If you're going to go have a competition here, man, you need to look at all the different parameters, and you need to have a competent, qualified judge, like you said. Have a cracker with it or something, you know.
I love that this is a thing that guys do. Like, not all.
I didn't know.
I love that. I didn't know it was a thing. I love that this is the thing that. I love that some men are comfortable enough with their bodies to fucking do something goofy like this with their friends.
Well, see, the best part was
I wish I could.
I don't think
Alice, we can work on those squirters. We can do it.
I mean,
little practice and enough stretchers, we can get it done.
No, I'm the kind of guy that like lesbian porn, right? So what the hell would I mean, I'm not really going to. That's not my idea of competition, man. Plus, they would lose anyways, so it's kind of unfair competition. Hey, for my age, I do okay, man. Kegels, man. Trust me, Kegels.
Well, see, it ended up being really funny in my situation because I'm straight. I'm comfortably straight. My friend, he was the one that was always like really like sensitive and always like holy crap, I don't want to be gay, that kind of thing. So it was really fun to kind of like just push buttons a little bit with him, be like, all right, your turn to go, check it out. Marissa can stand off to the side and just to see his reactions and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, no, I don't judge it, man. Hey, knock yourself out. If people want to go, compete on that, just don't ask me to lend a hand, so I gotta ask you about the number one movie here. Gotta ask you about this. Okay.
Are we still at FAP to the Future for our number one, or has there been a contender that's knocked it off its throne since then? I'm having a quick little one moment.
Well, I'm going by your numbers of how you did them. So the very first movie I guess this was the first one you ever did. Your first podcast.
Yeah,
Deep Throat. What it was?
Yeah, Deep Throat was her first.
Okay. Now, this particular movie, this was with Linda Lovelace, who is no longer with us. Yeah, and she wrote. I mean, she later after this movie, she and some other ones, she just totally turned on the profession. But this movie was creepy as fuck in so many different ways. Now, you guys give your review on it, and then I will kind of get. This is one movie I do remember because I remember very vividly when it was on VHS, and got to watch a few parts a few times and go, holy shit, what the hell is going on here? Because I was just blown away that this was actually in a fucking movie. So you tell me your review on it and what you thought was really strange about it. And it's funny was we were just talking about men not finding the clitoris, and this whole movie was predicated on the clitoris being somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, the movie started. Yeah, I mean the fact that the movie started with her walking with her walking in on was it a whorehouse that they were working in, or sorry, a brothel? Either way, she walks in at a woman on the kitchen table who is smoking while getting her pussy eaten with it was like the worst oral sex I've ever seen and the worst porn acting to it that I've ever dude, at least fake that this is good. Maybe she was sending a signal to us in the outside world. This is bad oral sex. Look at how hard I have to act to make this look okay.
Goddamn, don't blade it. God,
I'm sorry. I'm just saying the cigarette. Wow. I'm like, isn't this a health hazard? This is why we need OSHA for porn.
I mean, it starts with that, and then we progress to everything from weird clown circus music being played in the backgrounds. We have the Coke being sipped through a straw out of a vagina. Yeah, that happened.
Why did anyone think that was a good idea? Like, I just think that's going to give someone bacterial vaginosis or something.
Hey, do you remember the music playing? I like to buy the world a Coke or something, or I don't know. It's just like this was fucked up.
Yeah. I think in our porn review, Yvette said it best. Also, the best acting Linda ever did was with a dick in her mouth. I mean, just.
Well, that's true.
She looked like she was genuinely happy and getting some pleasure out of choking on a cock. That takes some genuine acting. So perhaps that's the only medium in which her acting skills were a perfect fit.
Yeah, no, I thought that was actually well done. It was the whole drinking the Coke out of the twat thing that I was like, no, this should not happen. This is not sanitary. This is not hygienic. This is not sexy. Please don't ever do this.
They do know there's something with the word acid in the title in that, right?
Throw your pH off, you get yeast infection. Yeah, there's carbonic acid in there. I don't think that's very good, hygienically speaking. Would it be?
Well, carbonic acid is basically any soda has carbonic acid because of what happens when the CO2 and the H2O it just always turns into. But the phosphoric acid is probably what you might be thinking of, because that's the buffer system in there that keeps the pH where you want to be between that and the citric acid. Like the types of acids that aren't strong acids are always really they are not what we think of as this is going to burn a hole through me acids. They kind of all work together as a bit of a buffer. Indeed.
I wouldn't want anything that's a protonator to change the pH of certain things. So,
but here's the thing with but here's the thing. That's not it's the worst part of that for one's vagina would probably be the sugar.
Yeah, I mean, chlamydia and yeast infections and
citric acid is fantastic for taking away driveway oil stains and rust removers. So I don't know. I mean, if you have that up there, so just.
Yeah, I mean, if you ran out of lube and you're like, dude, I've got motor oil, maybe you can throw some Coke in there, and much like a muffler, it'll make your vagina shiny and new again. Please don't do that. Don't
laugh.
Do
it, but I actually had that happen one time when I was in my teens. We grabbed the wrong product. Bad mistake. She grabbed the wrong product.
May I ask what kind of product?
I don't. It was not supposed. It was not what it was. It was more like a hand cream kind of thing, and it just it wasn't. No, yeah, no. It was bad.
I was gonna say. I mean, fucking with a condom already makes the room smells like an AutoZone. I mean, it sounds like you're taking it to another level.
Thank you. I'm never gonna go to an AutoZone ever again and not think of the smell of sex. Thank you.
Look, I just what, they work with an AutoZone. I hope they're banging out back for the good of their sanity, because who wants to work at an AutoZone? If you're working at AutoZone and you're mad at me, email us info@twogirlsonemic.com. I will take that. But yeah, I hope you're having sex out back.
Somebody has had sex there. Yeah, I'm sure somebody has gone and just looked at these carburetors and said, "Yeah, damn, we just got to do it real quick."
It's if carburetors are your kink, I'm not going to fetish shame you if carburetors get you off. I'm confused.
I can tell you right now, I've had sex in a Radio Shack before in the back room.
Well, who hasn't?
Yeah. With the actual woman, believe it or not, live feed. Yes.
I worked at a mall in the 90s. I worked at a mall in the 90s. Of course, I fucked at a Radio Shack.
Yeah, but people think like Steve, masturbation doesn't count. I'm like, no, there was a partner with me at the time. Thank you. Oh, geez. How do you think she got the job? No, I'm kidding. She was actually she was my girlfriend. She was my girlfriend. We
taking tips from Debbie Does Dallas, I see.
Exactly. I know, right? How do you think I learned
Debbie
about these things, man?
Not a how-to hiring guide. We're just saying it would not
get fired.
That's
you have to be really careful.
That's how to be canceled.
So what is your guys? You're talking about the what movie you said was your number one?
I'm trying to remember, because we did Back to the Future not that long ago, and we were like, this is the best thing we've ever seen. And I'm trying to remember if we've seen anything since then.
Why was Back to the Future good?
Oh no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was fantastic for writing. I mean, so it was written by a friend of the show, Leroy Myers, who runs the phenomenal porn parody site Wood Rocket. Definitely love supporting their work, and a lot of the parodies that we make, Leroy has had some sort of a hand in, just because he's kind of like the king at this. But you could tell that. I mean, right now as we speak, I'm wearing a Back to the Future shirt.
We're a little nerdy.
Yeah, so we had actually one of our best friends on. We had Natalia Regan from Star Talk All Stars, and also one of the co-hosts on Star Talk to review the porno with us. We all love the film. You could tell that the people who made this loved the content. I mean, you can tell when
sex was
a
good
fan...
too.
Oh yeah, that too.
A porn movie with good sex.
It was 13 minutes straight of plot before, like, it was unlike a lot of these movies, like where it's like 3 minutes of talking, if that, and then 15 minutes of banging. It was like half talking and then half sex, and it was like there was kissing and making out and slow removal of clothing, but still having that extra oomph factor of porno sex, and like it was probably the best porn sex I've seen, like in one of these parodies at least.
But we've also had some other fantastic films, like Pee-wee's Big Triple X Adventure.
It was so good.
Oh my god! I mean, our friend
the scenes with Tommy Pistol and Evan Stone.
Evan Stone.
Oh my
by
god!
the way. I mean, oh my god! Just he throws himself into his acting.
He is a thespian, and I will hear no arguments otherwise. Like, okay, with we also reviewed Ghostbusters parody porn, and Evan Stone was in that, and he's playing the Bill Murray character, which is he was perfect. And at one point there are like behind the scenes, there's a behind the scenes bit of footage that they have at the end, and there's a point where he of course gets slimed by Slimer or whatever they're calling him in the movie, which I'm sure was something a little cummier. But he's talking with the director. He's like, no, we have to start rolling before I throw the bucket of this on my head, or else we can't see it dropping down my body and it won't work for the show. And I'm like, wow, he's arguing for how he gets cum dumped on him, basically, which was
so the ghost slime. The ghost slime is actually.
It's been. I think it was. It's been a little while since we've watched it, but it seems in tune with what the Porniverse would do.
I think it was mostly slime.
I think I think they call that bukkake nowadays. I think that's the technical term for it, isn't it?
Oh, that's what happens when it's many. That would be if many ghosts slimed him or cummed on him, but this was one. So I don't remember if it was slime or
bukkake requires more than one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I know about that.
Yvette, you did touch on something important, and this is, I think, that they need to do, not just in like parodies, but more porn movies in general, along with like, putting a little bit more oomph into the plot, is like the workup, man. Like me, I'm a foreplay guy. I love good foreplay, and so much porn doesn't have that.
I think
so much porn has pornolingus.
Pornolingus.
Do you constitute like negotiations of price considered to be foreplay, Ian?
Well, I mean, you're Jewish, so I would count it for you, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I gotta make it as cheap as possible, right? I mean, I look for women that have like buy one get ones. They got coupons, money back guarantee, group discounts. I'm into all that stuff, man.
I mean, you got to alternate too. Sometimes you get like a first time discount.
Rebate, yeah. I like it, on site rebates, but I'll mail it in. I'll cut the coupons out, sure.
That would be great if you could cut coupons on like cereal boxes for porn.
I'm telling you,
Pornhub now advertising on Cocoa Krispies.
Look, you know how they want to do like this $1,000 government handout where they have a universal cost of living things, right? No, I'm telling you, man, what they need to do is they need to give people fucking vouchers for hookers. They would get voted in a heartbeat. Everybody would be fucking happy. I mean, how is this not a good idea?
I mean, because hookers, just like everyone else, are allowed to choose their clients, and you don't get to sit there with the thing saying, "But I have a pass for this." When it turns out you're a creep.
I got a freebie.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a freebie. Like, yeah, it's kind of it's like say you have, for instance, because you're like government. Let's say why this is bad. So say you said it was distributed by the government. So does the government automatically give sex workers a certain amount of money from that? Are there rules who they are allowed to turn down for sex if they know someone's dangerous? But how do you decide? How do you? This is a little bit too much federal fuckery in a vagina that you shouldn't have. That's my.
Yeah, and then it become that. I'm sure somebody would be outraged by it. Yeah, I'm sure somebody would be like, well, she didn't want to bone me. Have you looked at yourself? Do you blame her?
And I look at it and go, look, just like you have no rights to someone else's. Nobody is obligated to want to fuck you. You're obligated to turn yourself into a human that people want to fuck.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been trying to convince women of that for ages. It's not easier said than done. Trust me. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. I do believe in choice because there's been times where I've definitely chose to not to, and so if I am allowed that choice, I definitely think that they should be allowed that choice. Although I don't mind trying to convince them to the contrary. Of course, I think that's half the fun. Some women like seduction. They really do, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually one of my fetishes. If people want to know, I happen to like seduction, and the women that I'm attracted to like to be seduced, and so it's kind of a game. Boy, that just had dead air. Holy crap! Everybody stop watching.
I spent very little time with seduction on my now husband. I banged him the night before our first date.
Oh well, look at I have met a woman that night we went out. We moved in together the next day and lived together 5 years. So it happened.
I locked this one down with a contract.
Hey man, I'm totally with you, though, Steve.
Is that how you do it, Ian? Are you like the seduction? Do you like work to get those panties dropped?
Well, see, I like the long game, and that's why I'm not really into like the whole Twitter thing or Tinder thing, or that kind of thing as much, just because it's like I like to meet someone, kind of like let them know what to expect, and then you finally meet up, then you get the foreplay going. I've always been a slower kind of guy like that. I enjoy the chase.
I've never used
I guess
Tinder.
You could say.
I mean,
I don't even know what to do on Tinder.
Like one of our good friends met his. One of our good friends met his now wife through I believe it was what's the on Craigslist? It's the like one night stand type. Or
casual encounters
in there. Casual encounter. There we
go.
They don't
have the adult. I don't think they have the adult thing.
They don't have it anymore at all. But they're married and still together, and it's been long enough that they were using a part of the internet that no longer exists to find each other. Yeah. People find each other.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I wasn't fucking all the time.
I wasn't trying to argue that you can't find what you're looking for on Tinder. I'm just saying, like on Tinder, it's more like there's not really that chase that me and Steve are talking about. Like when you go on Tinder, you know what you want. You're like, hey, let's go. It's like it's just right there. I enjoy working up to it.
I would never bother with Tinder, and no, I've never actually had to pay for sex besides emotional commitments. Just drain. You always pay for sex some way, and most of the time it's with my soul. But I've never financially had to give anybody money for anything. But I'm not against it. I think that it should be legalized. I really do. I think it should be actually taxed like anything else. Why not?
Yeah, we actually
that would
had
make
a
it a lot
guest
safer.
on. Absolutely.
Go ahead,
so we had Alice Little on the show on, I want to say, episode 32, Little Brothel on the Prairie. Where Alice Little is one of the top, if not the top, sex worker in the country. Like last year, the girl, she's like 26. She pulled in $1.5 million. So that is banging. That's a lot of banging. Pussy. Yeah,
that is banging. She must know tricks that nobody ever. She got down to a skill, probably.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, you would think.
What does that run a night? It was like she was just charging like $5,000 a night.
Not totally certain, because sex workers, they get to set their own rates at these brothels. They essentially get to, in a sense, rent a room. They could stay there for a week, couple of weeks, months, a year, however long. And what's really nice is that it's very safe for them, an environment. I mean, they even have a button that they can press if something were to hypothetically ever go wrong. And it was funny because she told us the only time she's ever had to.
She never had to use it?
No, she did. Yeah. She used it once, but for a spider.
I would too. I would too. I'm arachnophobic. Fuck yes, I would. That motherfucker. Yeah, I mean,
the fact that she's never had to do it for somebody harming her, it shows how safe this environment is. Like, there's always going to be demand for sex work, so let's make it safe for everyone involved.
It's a lot more than just sex. There's an emotional connection. There's people who, sex work is very, I mean, it's basically part sex, part therapist for a lot of these people, really.
Yeah, I know someone who, after his marriage broke up, the first sex he felt comfortable having again was with a sex worker. So.
Yeah. Look at, you know, if they're subcontractors, they do 1099 work and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of from what I understand, the big push now is things like professional cuddling, girlfriend experience, right? Like you said, a lot of guys like myself, I would be more interested in just, you know, having a conversation with a really hot, you know, chick than I would probably, you know, paying to have sex. It's just not my thing. But a lot of guys, they like that, they want that emotional connection, right? They like the fact that, you know, this woman is, even though she's, you know, kind of pretending and acting in some ways, but they're having the experience of an emotional bond that you just can't get from having just straight sex. Any idiot can have sex. I mean, I know flat earthers are probably still confused how that works, but for the most part, any reasonably intelligent person could figure out how to have sex for the most part, right? But to have an actual bond with somebody, that's a lot different. And so I think a lot of guys are missing that emotional connection rather than the physical.
Yeah, and I
yes,
I could
ladies, in
resonate
live
a
chat,
lot
I
with
am
that.
single. Yeah, by the way, in the live chat there, yeah, you, and you, yeah, call me later. Yeah.
But no, I could actually resonate with that a lot, Steve. Like I don't really know a lot of the terms myself, but I guess my generation calls me like a demisexual, where I literally just cannot really get like a physical attraction without like literally knowing someone. So, you know, or having some
Yeah,
kind of
and how about dumb people?
mental.
How do you
Yeah.
get sexually attracted to somebody who's just mentally on the level of somebody like a flat earther? How would let me ask you two? You know, we do flat earth a lot on this channel, right? We are,
dude. If I found
science.
out tomorrow that Bradley Cooper was a flat earther, I'd still be like, time and a place. Where do you want to? How do you want to do this? I'll bring the lube.
Question,
all right,
is like
I would not date.
Enough.
But if I were single,
Okay,
I'd be like, we
thank
can
you.
do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Manuel Ferrara, if I found out that he was not like a brainiac, I'd say, yeah, no, Manuel Ferrara.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to kick I'm not going to kick somebody to the curb.
Look, he's smart in all the ways that matters. He knows how to twist a girl's nipples, literally and figuratively. So it's you'd bang and
okay. So
it.
Any of these movies that you watch, do they get into that whole BDSM thing? Because again, learning about BDSM, I discovered terms that I was not aware of before, and I guess they do things that, to me, I would consider against the Geneva Convention and probably illegal in 200 countries. So
why do you think there are sadists in the world that do this? They need an outlet to practice these impulses.
I don't understand the sexual nature behind it. And again, I'm not trying to judge on them. This is their lifestyle, and whatever your kink is, fly your kink flag, man. I am not judgmental. But I
can actually give you the science on. Would you like to know the science on why people like pain?
I would love to know
your
that.
body.
Yeah.
So there are a couple things at play. Number one, and this is like, if you're a neurologist out there that wants to fight me on this and tell me why this is not the brain responds this way, please tell me. I'd like to be correct. But the basically, when you're putting the body into a controlled amount of pain, you're releasing a large amount of endorphins. And when you're building up a spanking, you start really lightly and get a little, like you switch it up. These different toys have ways of being used that they can feel like a massage, or they can gradually build up a thud, and you don't even realize it while it's building up. But eventually, you feel really high. And it's basically the endorphin buildup. Now, some people are just pain sluts. I don't get it. It's not my fetish. But at the same time, the link between pain and pleasure is pretty strong, just because of how our endogenous endorphin system, or our endogenous opioid system, works.
Yeah, and I totally understand that, right? I do get that the endorphin is going to be released, and I do understand there's a euphoric experience. But having candle wax burn down on my nipples is nothing that I think would be euphoric. I've been working in industries before, so I mean, I've worked with chemicals. I've had steam burns. I've experienced excruciating pain because of certain things, and I do not get sexually excited by it. So what is it about the pain to having your nipples like twisted and put like 6-penny nails in it and shit? I don't understand how that is something that I as myself, I wouldn't be sexually attracted to that. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I will go for an answer that it's same reason why I said to other types of pain, why people are into that more extreme version. I've seen people who are into needle play, who are into stapling, and it seems to be the same kind of drive. Start off with a spanking and eventually get there. Yeah, it freaks me out. I'm not okay with blood.
There's somebody that stapled their scrotum and got infected. And I'm like, oh hell no.
But it's, I look at it and go, with all these things, it's fine that you're into it. Make sure you're doing it safely, in a way that will cause the sensation of pain without actual damage. And that's what a lot of these things are, like spankings and flogging. They're things that will hurt, but in a controlled setting. So you are getting an endorphin release without without being damaged. But I look at some of it that does cause, permanent scarring from and you know what, here's the thing, that's perfectly okay. Do with your body what you want. Just make sure you're doing it in a way that's sanitary is all I put out to people.
Oh, I agree with you. And two consenting adults, go fly your freak flag. If you find this is okay, and I'll ask this, Alice, explain this to me. It's weird enough when I experience these people telling me certain things that I have no concept of, right? I'm not involved in that type of universe. And so I hear things that I just think are something that I would never, ever even think of. Now, how is it they go about finding somebody else that has that same type of proclivity and that same type of kink? How? I mean, we have the internet nowadays, but I mean, I'm just amazed that you find two people that could actually have the exact same thing. Like, oh, let me burn you with candle wax.
Well, that's an amazing thing. The internet. I mean, you have to understand that, and you probably remember this. I mean, back in the 90s, we just actually interviewed for an upcoming episode a former dominatrix who at the time, I mean, she was working when there was no internet. And when people had even just, they wanted hypothetically a butt plug stuck in them. They felt as if, well, I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm a weirdo, but yet there's tons and tons of people. I mean, nowadays it's almost for the most part normalized anal play. Where in the
you
past,
can hop on
FetLife. Exceptionally stigmatized. Exactly.
No, I get that. I understand that. Nothing wrong with anal play, but I'm not a baseball bat up there.
No. But what I'm saying is that
don't you stomp on my dreams, Steve.
Yeah, I know you, man. We all have to have our line of demarcation, right? Baseball bats, no good.
Yours is a relatively small fist. Mine is a baseball bat.
Yeah, finger or two, whatever, man. All right, go ahead.
The question is, how big of a fist would you take for love, Steve?
Oh, she would have to be excruciatingly hot. Like we're talking like 10 out of 10 to even consider half this shit. Trust me.
We're just asking.
Yeah. You never know. Yeah. Look, all I'm saying
like I said, man, I can't
try anything.
I may be cheap, but I'm not free. What's Alice? I'm sorry. Keep stepping on you because of this lag, and I apologize.
It's fine. Hey, be open to trying stuff. So, but what I was going back is, back in the day, we all used to be, for the most part, in silos. The internet, one of the fantastic things it's done is it's opened up for everybody really the opportunity to learn. The fact is that nowadays, if I want to learn how to stimulate someone's prostate, I can just Google it and learn how to do it the right way, as opposed to taking a stab at it and just shoving a finger into someone's butt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
taking a stab at and putting a finger into her. Very interesting word choice.
See, usually I just thought I was like, done, See, the only
you gotta buttholes can hurt, man. You gotta work those. I mean, they are, to quote Patton Oswalt, nightmarishly elastic, but you gotta work on that elastic.
No. See, here's the thing. Look, I've had a guy stick his finger in my ass before. Yes, because of medical procedures. So people are like wondering. Not my thing, okay? Did not enjoy it. Never will happen sexually ever.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed a finger in any of my parts medically, and I love things stuck in my vagina normally.
Context matters, right? I mean, isn't context the most important part?
Come on, so you said, hey, Ion, let me try. Ion, okay. So wait a minute. You're like, hey, Steve, just try it out. I'm like, look, I mean, I don't have to suck a dick to know that I'm probably not going to like it, right? I don't think I have to do that, do I?
No, I totally
maybe
agree
there's
with you. I'm not
that's
saying
not
that.
the same thing.
How is that different?
Yeah, like I'm not saying
the difference
that
is
context matters.
The
in the
difference
sense
is
where you
applying.
can enjoy anything.
The difference is
Sorry.
that one is inherently having sex with somebody of your gender, and the other one is experiencing pleasure on your own body. And it's like saying that masturbating by jerking your own dick is gay because you're touching a dick. Like, dude,
exactly.
you have all these pleasure buttons on your body. You have a prostate. Fucking use it. If I had a prostate, I would never take a butt plug out of my ass.
Yvette, thank you. I'm never touching my penis ever again now. Thank you. Okay.
No, you're gonna just enjoy the extra stuff you have. You have something wonderful.
The fact is that when I go to a gynecologist and if I get an ultrasound, they shove a massive wand into me. By the way, not in a fun way, and I like massive wands. Not in a fun way. So
they even lube that thing up for.
Yeah, speculums and dildos are two different things. Speculums.
Yeah, look at if you go to a doctor that doesn't warm the speculum.
This is a it's like no, this isn't even a speculum. This is the thing they insert to do an ultrasound. It just it looks like a dildo. Yeah, it kind of does. I've seen dildos that look almost exactly like them. And I mean, I've seen some hot radiologists, but that still doesn't do it for me.
Also, I don't think you've seen the vast amount of dildos that we've seen.
I saw one. I saw one the other day called the Dragon.
Oh, by Bad Dragon.
I don't know. I don't get that much into it. All I know is this: is that I didn't think the human body could do certain things. Yeah. How?
Well, it can.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Wait. Okay, this is going so off topic here. I'm actually speechless. There was a story that I found out actually was true. That we had on the show once. Guy was talking about a guy that I guess he worked for Boeing or something like that, and he wanted to take horse cock, and it ended up killing him. And
actual
it was like
horse cock or cock the size of a horse. This cock.
No, he wanted to. He had a horse fuck him on camera. They got it on video, and it ended up perforating, his inner intestines or something, and he later died of, I think it was probably sepsis or something. But I'm thinking, first of all, I've actually seen things like that Dragon. I mean, it's like that. I mean, it is just ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't think the human body was designed for certain things. I mean, have you ever tried taking a turd? When you got something like, can you imagine like that? I'm like, I don't see how that would ever be something that would be utilized in any kind of sexual way. I don't understand.
You need to grow more imaginative about how you use your holes, sir.
I'm vanilla, man. I told you.
Everyone has their own fetish. There's people who enjoy stretching fetishes, so why not?
Yeah.
So here's one for you. So I have we're gonna call this person a friend who thinks blowjobs are yicky, and you probably think that's horrifying, right?
I would
like
never know that
somebody
kind of
could. Yeah. No. Here's the thing. Like her thoughts on blowjobs are your thoughts on the masochistic stuff. So I think there's this. I kind of have the level up, level down theory. Anything a little crazier than what you do is way too crazy. Anything like a level lower than what you do is just too tame. So she thinks your sex life is fucking crazy, and you think the sex life of someone who does occasionally what I do is fucking crazy, and that's fine. But it's like you don't have to understand it for someone else to enjoy it.
No, I get that. No, that actually makes sense to me. I like that. Everybody has like their level of comfort, right? Yeah, I mean, a girl that doesn't give a blowjob.
The thought that somebody couldn't be okay with blowjobs never entered your head, probably. Like, not just doesn't like giving them because it is a job, but like the thought of somebody being repulsed and thinking everyone who does that is disgusting. Like that's terror. That's crazy to talk to you, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally get that because I had to think about this later on in life. This was actually, when I got older, I thought about this. I thought, look, I actually happen to like going down. I think eating out is like one of my favorite all-time things to do. I could do that. I love it. I mean, guys out there, that's a skill set that you really need to develop. And I'm telling you, it's well worth it. And I enjoy it, right? I know that they enjoy it. I enjoy it. One, I think it's more of a dominant type of thing, maybe, but I actually really do enjoy it. And so I always thought to myself,
ladies, he's single is what he's saying. He can do this for you.
He's single and he's ready to mingle.
He
has the tongue of a fat chick.
I look fabulous these days. So my thing was this, that I always wondered what girls got for having what they got out of giving a blowjob. I didn't understand what they were getting out of it, and I always felt kind of bad that I was like on the receiving end, but I wasn't giving anything back to them during that time. But then I thought about it later on. Look, some of them actually really do actually enjoy it. And then I thought, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. I mean, if you enjoy, you just mentioned you enjoy giving your partner pleasure by eating out. There are women who enjoy giving their partner pleasure by sucking cock.
Right.
And here's the thing.
Thank you.
this isn't too often. Like I try not to discuss my my sex life with my husband too much. But this is pretty normal. While I'm giving a blowjob, I'll have a Hitachi on my parts. So like you guys, you can give someone else pleasure and be getting it at the same time. And like don't as long as a guy isn't freaked out and feeling threatened by a Hitachi, you guys can both have an amazingly better time with the use of this toy.
I'm not going to take the Hitachi to dinner. That's all I'm saying.
It's look, if mine would just hang up my curtains.
So wait, do you have like 3 speeds, low, high, and who needs a man again? Is that the 3 speeds that you have?
It has multiple speeds. There's 2 different versions. There's one with a cord, which we don't recommend because the cord is kind of limiting.
I had that one threesome where somebody had to sit there holding the cord to the wall, and it was I felt bad for the guy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Look, I did dirty things to him later. It all worked out, but yeah, that's a thing that happens.
So I think what's going to happen is my fantasy now is to actually get a blowjob while binge watching Game of Thrones. How's that?
It depends on I think it depends on the episode how weird it is that you're getting off to it.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't watch. I mean, I watched the first couple ones and I just couldn't get into it. So I figured I'd probably try again.
Hashtag spoiler alert. It's only okay if you're jerking off to Jon Snow and Daenerys doing it in season 7. If you're still doing it in season 8, it's weird.
Wait till season 7? Wait, you're gonna make me wait till season 7?
Sorry, was that like it's I had a plan. Look, I had a plan and I stuck to it. I said I was only going to start watching it 2 weeks before the finale and binge it. And I did. And that way I didn't have to spend years being, getting into characters and investing time and waiting and being like, I like this character. Why did they die? Which is, Twitter Sunday night for the last decade. It's like you just know going in, everyone's going to die. All the characters you love are going to have a fucking horrible time. But season 7 there's some fucking with these 2 characters, and season 8 there's a plot twist that makes you go, I can't jerk off to this anymore. So
you just so it's kind of like Walking Dead. They all die eventually at some point, right? This is why I hate watching some shows. Your favorite characters die.
Well, I mean, and that's a whole different
why
fetish.
Couldn't that have happened?
Dead.
I'm trying to think, why couldn't that have happened with Dexter? It would have been such a better ending. Dexter dying would have been better than his fate.
That we gotta get to super chats here in a second, but Dexter was a brilliant series. The people that produced that last one need to be executed or at least flogged. That was an abomination of a brilliant series. I'll tell you how I would have ended it. He should have gone off with her, whatever her name was. I can't remember her name. The really cute blonde. And they should just rode off in the sunset. And she now has become his new passenger, because you always talk about his dark passenger, but love has triumphed over that. And now he has a new passenger. That's her, and they're riding off together. Wouldn't that have been a hell of a lot better?
She stays, but doesn't she stay with, like, she leaves the kid with him and rides off to go be a lumberjack in Canada? Like, dude, I don't. It was just also. Here's the thing. If you watch Dexter, just pretend everything after the Trinity killer is not there. Just pretend it. That was it season? I thought it was season 5 that Trinity showed up, and I always get those mixed up because Trinity, you think it's the 3rd one, but yeah, Trinity was the most amazing villain. He was, and it was played by John Lithgow, and it was just pretend the whole thing ends right there, and you will have such a satisfying end to the show.
Yeah, don't watch the last season. But we gotta get the super chats here because we are running out of time. We want to still can't keep you 2 lovely ladies that long. So David, will you do me a favor? Will you please read off the super chats for us?
I will, Steve. We have
You're the man.
Not that many tonight. You 0132 says Babyface Steve is the best Steve. Piazza says, how would a subscription model for porn business work when exclusivity is no more a thing thanks to the internet? Interesting.
How do subscriptions work to websites?
Well,
you basically give money and you have access to it, I thought.
He's talking about...
Yeah, I mean, we subscribe to places to have...
Right, but he's talking about the fact that exclusivity is no more a thing.
Well, yeah, stuff is going to get pirated and content's going to be out there, but there's plenty of stuff behind paywalls. Clearly hasn't paid for porn, or else he'd know that there's a lot of shit behind there.
Yeah, there's
a lot of stuff going on there. You get special access to certain things, right?
Right.
A lot of good shit too.
Tons more video,
Yeah, like, I mean, and just to see if I could find them, like, we pay for all of our porn. I looked around to see if I could find the good stuff that we review non-paywalled. It's pretty hard to find. In some cases, it's just not out there. So, you can, if you like, you can minimize it if that's part of your business model. But a lot of it is the clips that you sell directly to fans, and that's a thing. That's part of the subscription service.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a brilliant way of doing it. Yeah.
Ash Scott says, I was in a porn video. I can't paste a link here, but just Google Rick Astley never gonna give you up. If you want to see
I've
play
seen
with
that
Mike with a cucumber. Okay. So it was a Rickroll porn. I didn't even know that.
I want to know, in this porn, do they play the video to
What?
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing if they actually played Rick Astley in the...
Oh, I just wanted to know if you got rickrolled during Rick Astley porn. Like if the original starts playing in it.
Would they have the rights to it?
They'd have to pay for it. I've had a video cut from YouTube for using the song.
Yeah, I would figure
yeah. So to Facebook with it I went.
Kwiasa says it's just baby steps now, but how much would VR change the porn industry if the tech really
moves? It has. It already has.
Will the world experience population drop?
So what's interesting is our second episode was with a former reference librarian and actually the woman who basically launched the first porn VR site, Ella Darling. So she actually walks through on how porn has kind of affected the industry, and if really VR is going to survive, porn is kind of going to take it there. When I was actually at the Adult Entertainment Expo this year, as opposed to any other year prior, there were so many booths just dedicated solely to VR porn, and the quality that exists now as opposed to what used to exist, night and day. Where if you look, we're talking 360 shots. We're talking about something where the quality is not subpar, and you actually feel like you're in the scenario. There are also VR porn. What's it called? Like the equivalent of Oculus Rift, specifically made for VR porn, as well as sites dedicated to creating content for that. And a lot of it's really good, actually.
Yeah, no, I hear that that's kind of the hardest to make because they have to do so many different angles, so many different shots. I mean, those poor women might have to have like a dick in their mouth for like 4 hours shot from many different angles, and then you get to switch and stuff. And then, obviously with the VR stuff, I mean, they can have eventually some kind of really full immersion when, people have these, like, I guess they have these suits now that actually have certain sensory things. So when you're watching, it actually has like sensory as well. I mean, I think another 100 years, man, people won't even have actual stuff. Is that what it's called? What it's called?
Yeah.
I think I've seen pictures of something like that. Isn't it? Or isn't there some version in Japan that got big for a little bit?
I'm not sure what the thing you're referencing in Japan is. Although nowadays there are dildos that will vibrate to. Hypothetically, if let's say your partner is utilizing a specific toy a certain way, remotely. Via Wi-Fi, via Bluetooth, things like that. So, I mean, teledildonics actually goes back 20, 30 years. I think the first one utilized light. It's pretty old. The technology's there. The problem is it was also kept under some patent law. So some stuff hasn't been really developing until more than recently. And of course, there's going to be issues like latency issues. So the last thing you want is like someone touching you and then you don't feel it, and then like 30 seconds later, you say, "Oh wait, I feel it now. I feel it now."
Delayed reaction, yeah. It's like, oh, hey,
we're experiencing a 7-second delay in my pussy.
Yeah, that would suck because they're probably done before you. It's like they're already done 7 seconds earlier, and you're just catching up.
Man, talk about a way to make buffering even shittier.
Yeah. Oh, you need high-speed connections, friends. Hi, Dave.
Get some Ethernet pumped right into that dildo.
Oh wow.
Yeah, don't use Wi-Fi for that kind of stuff. Go straight to that plug-in.
An orgasm is on the line here, people.
It has to be a full duplex connection.
Brainy Beaver. No ASL.
Brainy Beaver says, "Buckle down, man. If you can't find the thing, you're not paying enough attention. Dig deep, suck hard, and you can get the little beast to show itself."
Yeah, I mean, it may take a little work sometimes. Not really, but yeah, but I'm never going to believe that there are guys over the age of, I would say, even 20 or something. That, I mean, anybody that can drink should be able to know where to find that little bugger. I mean, I don't get it.
It's, if you're not sure if you're hitting it on your partner, fucking talk to them.
Yeah, and let them tell you. I mean, I think a lot of guys would be embarrassed though if they didn't. I don't know. I just couldn't imagine that. I live in a whole separate reality, I guess. I've known what that little bugger was since I was
embarrassed and just ask.
It's what would be worse just to go years and years.
Embarrassing not being able to get your partner off.
This is true. No, you make
finding out years down the line that she's been faking it to make you feel okay about yourself for not getting a roadmap.
Exactly. Look, man, I found out I was doing it wrong for 30 fucking years, man. So it's all good.
But I mean, I want to make one thing clear though. If you're a woman and your guy has consistently not been getting it, talk to him about it. This is for both people. Y'all need to chit chat about what's making all your parts wet and hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, they have a really good point there. I lost my virginity at 14. I was with the same girl for like 4 years, right? And 6 months into it, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I just came for the first time." And I'm like, "Well, haven't you every time?" And that was a conversation and a lot of embarrassment on my part there.
I mean, I hear it from that age, and I think, it might just be that she didn't know her body all that well yet, but at the same time, I understand. Oh, never mind. She. And then what? I do have a girlfriend who's, sorry to interrupt. No, I do have a girlfriend who's about my age who has never had an orgasm and has tried everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's like, sex feels great, but
I have a friend who I still talk to this day. I've known her since probably in elementary school together, but at junior high, at least I know for a fact high school, but I think she probably was my junior high. And her senior year, we had hooked up. And I did things to her that even to this day, she just has told me that nobody ever does. She has basically said still she can't get somebody to do exactly what I did when I was like back then. It was just before I was leaving to the Navy. And I was like flattered because I had no idea about this. Right. And so I figured, I knew I was always pretty decent at certain things, but to have a woman remember after like all those years, I thought that was very flattering because she just recently told me like last year of that. So guys out there, trust me, I'm telling you, learn this shit. Take their advice. If you think you're not doing it right, or if you don't think you're pleasing them, ask them. Let them know.
I mean, even if you think you're doing it right, talk.
Yeah.
What's the harm?
Yeah, I mean, every so often I still ask my husband, is there something that we haven't done that you want to do? And it might just be it hasn't come up yet. He just saw it in a video, whatever. It's like, but check in with your partner. Hey, is there something new or something different?
I'd be happy if one made me a sandwich. I'd like to try that. Just like actually make me a sandwich.
Yeah, I think the one time my husband said that to me just as a joke. I'm like, I'm getting Uber Eats, baby. It'll take care of the same need without me feeling quite so patronized.
That's good. That was brilliant. Yes, but
well, you know what? Sorry. I was just gonna say what it comes down to. Is it's like. You talk about, how you've been told, that it hasn't quite been the same. And that I think a big part of that comes down to just the fact that, like I've been told similar things, and it just comes down to the fact that we really legitimately enjoy doing it. There are people that just really don't, so they half-ass it, or, they want to do it, but they just don't have that passion for it. But when you enjoy doing something, you're going to do it well.
Right.
You're going to make sure you do it well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dave, what do you got for us?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I know we got to wrap this up soon. So Dave, can you finish the super chats real quick? And by the way, what's funny is I'm usually the most self-effacing person on the planet, right? I mean, but when it comes to this topic, I happen to like this topic. So sorry, live chat. You get it. You side of me you don't actually see very often. I actually do like this topic. Dave?
Well, Corrupt Syntax says NonSec has been absolutely entertaining and informative recently. Red's Dad's Bubba Sponge. That's last night's show, if in case you didn't see that, folks. The anti-NIFB Massa BS, and now these amazing women. You are killing it, Kyle, Steve, and Dave. Thank you. Well,
we have amazing guests. I got to tell you, I'm very grateful for the quality of people we get. Half the time, you know, we have guests on.
And then you got us. How?
Yeah, you know, we have to have a range, right? We have to have a range. No, I know. I
we had to be someone's bottom.
Actually, we're on the bottom. If you haven't noticed, you guys are tops. So,
yeah. I mean,
we're topping from the bottom.
This is the closest I've ever came to having a real foursome. So, hey, Dave.
Wriggles World says, "What's the worst surface to bang on? Hardwood deck timber is very rough on the knees and my."
I mean, are we talking? Okay.
I mean, what's worse? You know, wood that's splintery or concrete that's going to gravel you out. Like there are a lot of fucking bad ones. Don't fuck on anything that you think is going to give you ripped knees.
Yeah. Sidewalk gravel. I just bad.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'd say I remember that from my youth, but like I don't think 2 weeks ago counts as my youth.
Berber carpet is the worst. Rug burn.
Carpet's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean carpet's one that most of us. Yeah, it's like if you can have carpet or hardwood, like they can both give you a burn from doing some stuff on them. But yeah, I will pass on carpet if I can avoid it.
Just kind of cheat. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think concrete is probably the worst that I've done.
Princess April Van Ryan, I always get that messed up. Says, "I love Steve McRae." Right?
Oh.
Who doesn't, right?
My heart.
And
my parents, that's my family, my exes, my pets. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, who doesn't? That matters.
Right.
Yeah. My family doesn't matter. No, I'm kidding. They really don't.
Jen Morgan says, "Me, fat, ugly, 65-year-old lesbian, virgin. Any advice?" Don't be so self-effacing would be my advice.
Yeah, that's kind of good advice. Look, like I said, I'm the most self-effacing person on the planet, but I'm starting to feel better about myself. I'm starting to actually, like I said, you guys may have not noticed, but or seen before, but I had a beard down to like here. I had a long beard. I recently shaved. I just got my hair done. I'm working on my tan. I'm trying to change my overall appearance because I just, personal reasons. And so, I think confidence is a big thing, and I want to be able to get back into my confidence because I've lacked it, quite recently for various things. So to that person who asked that question, do something different, change something up, go out and do something for yourself. Have a good meal, just do your, hair, just something to make you feel better yourself, and go out and just start talking to people, because that's what I've been doing recently. I've actually been going out in real life and actually talking to people, and I've had some amazing experiences, and more than just going out to like a coffee stop asking about whether atheism or agnosticism, those kind of questions. I've actually been having actual conversations with people at bars, and I've enjoyed it. I met one person that we're going to be having a poker game here soon, and he's going to invite like 20 people over. So I'm expanding my network in real life. I think that you may not wish to do that. Just expand your network and feel better about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a big change or anything, a hairstyle, what kind of perfume you wear, whatever. And the biggest thing for me personally has been, if I have issues, look, I was dry for 8 years. I changed location, changed my approach, and something happened in 3 weeks. And it's just change it up.
I would say changing the approach is the biggest thing. Yeah. Like I said earlier, turn yourself into a person that people want to date. And it's like, I'm not sitting here going, you have to change everything about your face, everything about but like, there are people out there who like every body type. You just have to, go, like we have places on the internet where you can go find them. But think about what you might have for a dating pattern with what your approach is, and look around online for not pickup artist places, obviously, but for people that give advice on how to talk to someone when you're trying to figure out how to flirt. And that's flirting is kind of a skill if you're doing it with intent to try to hook up with someone. So yeah, I mean, it's not just like, I wish it was as simple as saying to someone, you just need to be more confident. It's like, yeah, but the fact that I haven't gotten laid is making me not confident. Like it's this cycle. So, look at yourself. No, I mean, I just want to, point out there's a flaw in the logic, and it's like, all right, look at at yourself and figure out what you can concretely change, because you know what you have in there, and people need to be able to see it too. So figure out, make yourself a person that people want to date, and don't think about your weight as something that's holding you back. Don't think about any of that. It's like, it's going to be how you approach people and how they get to know you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I haven't dated in years, by the way, but what's giving me my confidence is the fact that I have the most amazing people in the live chat, and some women that they know who they are. They have given me the most brilliant advice and the most confidence. And everyone out there that you know I'm talking about, and I don't have to call your names out, but I want to thank you for the last couple of weeks for the advice people have been giving me on different things, and I've taken it to heart. And it's been a huge change in my interactions with people in real life, and the fact that I want to start dating again. And there's somebody I actually do have an interest in. People do know. And it's been a huge thing, so it's cool.
I was also going to add, too, a lot of it has to do with where you're looking. If you're looking at the wrong kind of people that are shallow enough not to like you for you, then fuck them.
This is true.
Yep.
All right, are we good on Super Chats? Anything else?
No, we got a couple. I think we got...
let's rush through them, because I have plans at 8 o'clock. I'm doing a Rum and Coke show tonight on my
I just
channel.
have to pee. That's all I have to do, but it's a fairly soon have to pee. So you're welcome for knowing what's happening down there, folks.
We're done with Super Chat.
You know what? Fascinating topic. Yes, we love knowing the what's going on downstairs with most of our guests. We usually most of us are hardcore. We keep a bottle next to us just for those emergencies. No, not really. Actually, I do know one person that does do that, but we do got to wrap it up. I'm having an after show on my channel with Sarah Michaels. People, if you guys know who she is, she's been on the channel tomorrow too. But she's been a beautiful voice in the transgender community. I've been loving her videos that she's been putting out, and she's going to come on tonight, and we're going to invite people and drink and talk philosophy. So everybody's welcome to that on my channel. But nice. I want you two ladies, please, to wrap up with your podcast, put out the information about that. And by the way, I'm going to start listening to this. There's a few of these actually I've looked at as far as the name and go, I might check out your review on that. So.
Yeah, I mean, we are the only podcast that got Tom Arnold to review the relevancy of who's nailing Palin to the current Russian situation.
That was a move. That was a. I remember that, nailing Palin. Yeah.
Yeah, having Tom Arnold on to review it was a trip. He was a lot of fun.
That would have been awesome.
I wish we could have just gotten him like a few months later when he was dropping inside info about Michael Cohen.
All right. So everybody, I want to thank you very much for coming on here. We'll put the links in the video description to your podcast. And Dave, by the way, Ian, let me thank you as well for coming in last minute to co-host, by the way. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And to the live chat, thank you for being the wonderful live chat that you usually are. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, y'all.